Hello and welcome to WEF Weekly. We're very much into the heart of the big competitions now here in Wellington, right the way through what we call the winter, but it's still beautiful weather as ever here. A little bit windy today though, and we are breezing into another fantastic week. It is the Bainbridge 5-star week here in Wellington once again. $500,000 Grand Prix on the horizon this week, and of course reflecting on last week's success in the Nations Cup as well. Lots to catch up on. It's all here on WEF Weekly. And welcome into Bainbridge Week, our massive 5-star Grand Prix here on Saturday night as well. Bainbridge, proud sponsor here at the Winter Equestrian Festival, have been for some time now, with offices all across the country, based here in Wellington as well, but right the way from Texas through to North Carolina too. Bainbridge, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multifamily real estate. And also supporting our live stream throughout is Dodd Technologies, an industry leader in creative design and technology support services for sports, entertainment, corporate and special events as well. Visit them online at doddtechnologies.com. And also brought to you by the USEF as well, the supporting sponsor of our live stream too, in part with support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network as well. And welcome as we reflect, as I say, on a little of last week's superb Nations Cup competition. It was team competition last Saturday night. We're back into individual honours this week with the Bainbridge Grand Prix. $500,000 Grand Prix takes place on Saturday. So let's take you on a quick tour of what happened last week as well. It also included our Sunday Grand Prix as well as part of the Nations Cup, and that was won by Arturo Parada and fellow. Newer ride for him as well, and they jumped superbly in the Nations Cup and went on to win onto the Sunday Grand Prix. 4 into the Grand Prix there as well on a lovely Sunday afternoon here in Wellington. Nations Cup, well, it was a home win for the United States of America. We're going to be talking more of that in a few moments' time as well. But the key rounds that got it sealed across for the whole team, Charlotte Jacobs and Playboy, but a great team effort right the way through for US to lift the trophy since 2021. That was their last win here, and done and dusted for Team USA as well, alongside Natalie Dean, and also into the Brain Juice U25 series. It was Friday night into the semi-final there, and it was young Irish rider Timmy Brennan and Diadama Della Caccia that caught them to win that class as well. So a lot was going on last week too. And to reflect on what happened last week, again, an all-star lineup, I'm delighted to say. And I'm going to start with the world number one, Henrik von Eckermann. Henrik, good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Have you been enjoying your time in Florida?
Yeah, very much. I mean, the weather is great, so yeah.
Ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
We're going to come on to your run so far this season. Carly Anthony on that leading team, winning team for Team USA. Is it nice to return with the number one spot for the team last week?
To be a part of the team. It was a wonderful win. Really honored to be a part of such a great group of women, and it was great to see Charlotte smile at the end. I think that sums up the night there. She rode beautifully to secure the win for us, and it was a great win.
Super team effort. Laura Kraut, of course, part of that squad as well, and did I say 3-time Olympic gold medalist now, and again regular in the Grand Prix here. Former world number 1 too, Ben Maher. Ben, good afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Busy few days for you, back into action here with the 5-star. It's a strong part of the season now.
Yeah, we had been busy all season really, but having Enju out this weekend, his first bigger Grand Prix for the year, so we've been knocking on the door all season, but not quite finishing the job again. So hopefully something's going to change soon.
We picked up a Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago on Ginger Blue though.
Sorry, yeah, the big ones.
You're chasing the 5-stars, I know, from that point of view. Let's reflect a little on the Nations Cup. Ben, you got to be chef de keep for the British last week as well.
Yeah, that was an experience. Not sure I'm ready to...
You went with the Olympic format, 3 riders.
Yeah, exactly. I've decided to change it up a little bit, and it was great. Di Lampard called me. She wasn't feeling very well. She couldn't get on the flight, so I guess that's when you realise you're the older one of the team. She asked me to step in and take the job, and she told me it was a good experience for me to see it from the other side of the table.
How do you feel about it now?
I'm not sure I had the best experience all week for a number of reasons, but it was good. I did my best. There more to support the riders, and I think was more of a building, not for Harry. Harry, he jumped a great
Charles,
double clear there, Harry Charles, but
Charlie Jones, good performance.
Exactly, it was a great building team for us. Charlie come through, had a good Grand Prix, but yeah, organising team dinners and things like that was a whole new experience for me.
Other side of the fence, Henrik's smiling because are you aware of what goes on behind the scenes enough now?
Yeah, but I've never been a chef d'équipe, so it's still open.
The good thing is you've had Henrik Eckermann at the wheel for the Swedish for quite a while now. He's very well accustomed. Let's take a little look back and the teams in reverse order. Well, Belgium finished in third spot on that podium there. Super performances from the Conta sisters here as well, with Emily and Zoe putting in good performances there. An up and down night for Peter de Brabander on the team there as well, and Nicola Philipparts in the anchor slot to close things out. Ben, I'm going to come to you. Both the Conta sisters there had a really good night overall. It was a good Nations Cup for a number of the young riders in there too.
It's always a fun class here in Wellington. Get a huge crowd. People really get behind the teams. The format with the first round going earlier in the day, I don't know about that personally. It just kind of seems everybody comes in halfway through to watch. But America were streets ahead of everybody else. Carly and the girls there. But there was many sort of breakthrough riders getting their first chance or one of their early chances, and I thought it was a fair course. Always easier when you have your jeans on and not your riding pants, but it was a lot of fences falling all around, and the last line there proving difficult. So yeah, I think that it was a good class, and America got the result they wanted.
They did. They just kept at bay Team Ireland. Nicola Philipparts, the final rider for the riders for Belgium there as well. Team Ireland that have been winners and been so strong throughout Nations Cup over the last 12 months especially as well. Henrik, you've gone against the Irish quite a few times. We had Bertram Allen in there, we had Cian O'Connor, Daniel Coyle jumped double clean in there. Michael Duffy had a sticky run for him, but that's always tough as a rider on a team, isn't it? Because it sort of hits you harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, and he was first to go, if I don't recall right or wrong, and that of course puts the pressure on the other ones. But if it's any people that can handle the pressure well, it's the Irish ones. They're always very, very strong in team. I mean, they won so many. I think they were the most winning nation last year, for example. Yeah, they're always dangerous.
Always very dangerous. And well, Coyle bringing the scores to a close for the Irish there as the team finishing in second spot on the podium this time. Many times they've been winners here in the US as well. And Carly, let's just reflect. Team win for you, alongside, of course, Charlotte Jacobs in there, like I say, Natalie Dean, and of course Laura Kraut. Charlotte Jacobs, Playboy. She was the last to go. It's always the one that sort of gets it finished off that you go, okay, that got the job done. But actually, you going early as well. All three of you played your part.
Yeah, Charlotte crushed it. I mean, she went in there just smooth, confident. That smile at the end, it gets me every time. But Natalie, she was the first rider to go. She did an incredible job. She kind of helped set the pace and the energy for our team, and we all kind of just followed suit. And like Laura said, she was happy not to have to go again, and as anchor rider. But I thought it was a great team effort, great energy, and good result.
As you say, Natalie leading things off, then it was Charlotte to go third. Here are you in action with Heavenly W. What were your thoughts on the night? How did it feel?
The feeling was incredible. I think when you can be in cohesion with your horse and be in that present moment, there's nothing quite like it. So I'm very lucky to have such a spectacular horse, and willing to do it with me and be in the moment with me. It was an incredible feeling that obviously you wish you could get every round, but for me that's the goal. clear round or not is to be able to be present and in the moment every round you go.
And then you can enjoy the champagne afterwards as a nice home win.
Yeah, exactly.
I just saw that. That couldn't have felt too good turning the corner to the last lane with no stirrup.
Yeah.
You're putting on
I
a brave
thought,
face there.
okay, we're just going to get it done. I heard, and Anne on the commentary said, no time faults. And I was like, they told me I was just under the time in the first round.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I have to take an extra second to get my stirrup and have a time fault, that is not going to go over well. So.
And I will say, because we're sitting commentating, I mean, you just sat and got on with it.
Yeah. Did not have time to get that stirrup.
No, get the job done.
Yeah.
We actually caught up with all of you back on the night of the competition. Let's catch up and find out what the team had to say after their success.
I'm down here with the winning team, Team USA. First off, congratulations. That was a dominant performance from start to finish. We just want to get your take, Robert. Any takeaways from how your team performed tonight?
Well, it was obviously brilliant. What we really like is American girl power beating Irish boy power, and the other teams too. But Laura and I were just saying, because we've actually been around a few more Nations Cups than the other, that this is one of maybe the easiest one that we've ever won, because our anchor rider didn't even have to go.
That's always a great feeling,
Yeah.
and it needs mention.
We've never had it before.
It needs mention that this was the only all-female team tonight, and a dominant female team at that. Charlotte, we just wanted to get your take. You were the last rider in to determine whether your team won or not with a rail and change. What pressure that was? Did you feel the pressure, and what were your thoughts going into that final round?
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to do the best I could do, and I knew my horse jumped great in the first round, so I just wanted to repeat that performance. So I'm really happy with the way the chips fell tonight and that we came out with the win.
What an amazing round. Carly, it needs mention that you were only one of 3 double clear rounds. Congratulations, and congratulations to Team USA. I hope you guys celebrate tonight.
Well, there we go, as they put it, US girl power against the Irish boy power. I thought we did Battle of the Sexes earlier on this season, but it seems it carried on. Let's move on to our 5-star action this week. 2 superb Grand Prix that we've had so far this season already, with the Fidelity Grand Prix and Lugano Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. Surprisingly, and it has been the same winner, with Ken Farrington and Greer being at the top of both Grand Prix, which is unusual here because the quality is so high. It's very, very tough to do that indeed. Hasn't been done for quite some time, but he's achieved 2 Grand Prix out of 2 so far. Ben, you were top 5 in the Lugano Grand Prix as well, and obviously a mate of Kent's as well. What has been his special ingredient? He just seems to have had that extra pace this time.
Yeah, I think Kent's been working on a younger group of horses for a while now, and when you get a group of 2 or 3 horses all at the same time, as we're all aware, it makes life a bit easier because you can start to sort of put one here, put one there, which suits. He's pre-qualified for the Grand Prix as well, and Kent, when he gets confident, it's a bit the same rule for us all, but when he gets confident, it's even more dangerous, and he's a fast rider, got quality horses, and he puts a lot of pressure on us in the jump-offs, and it's just been hard to beat.
And he's not just been winning here, he's been winning World Cups in Surrey. He won the other day in Ocala as well. But Henrik, I mean, all of you have had runs at times. Your run has been astounding. I mean, once you get on a roll, it does give you that confidence, doesn't it?
No, for sure. And it's like Ben says, you know, now I think we were going to see Kent's time is coming now. Everything comes together, all these horses comes together. He's going to be the one, I think, now who's going to be very, very difficult to beat for a longer period of time, because you have the grey one who is extremely good, but still the other ones around it will win a lot of classes. So I think we will have a shift, and the shift is Ken Farrington.
Ben, do you guys sort of look what, say, Kent is doing at the moment with his winning and say, how do I get ahead of that? Or do you just sort of go your own plan and go, this is the firepower I have and this is what I'm going to get the best out of?
I mean, I've got amazing horses too. There's no excuses. I think when you have one horse that's really on form, then it gives the confidence down the team to all of the others, and then all of a sudden a horse which is not quite on form, it raises their game, and then everything seems to come good, and you start to ride like nothing can go wrong, and it doesn't go wrong. We've all had those runs. So I've been in the pole position last to go in both 5-star Grand Prix now, and probably not quite where I want to be with my horse to be able to win the class, but it's not in my nature not to try to win. It's kind of a win or lose, and it hasn't gone my way, but I don't copy somebody else's style. And
Yes.
Kent's a very fast rider. I go and ride the round that I can, and believe that I can win. It's not worked for me yet, but if I throw enough darts, hopefully one will stick on the board at some point.
You've done it plenty of times. It definitely works. I mean, all of those. I mean, Carly, we reflected a little on the Grand Prix a few weeks ago, but like Lily Keenan did a sensible round there. She put a double clear in, got top 3 on the podium, and said, knew Kent was coming behind, and said, off you go and fly for it.
Yeah, I think everybody has to play to their strengths and their horse's strengths, and then I guess it's also who everybody else is on that night as well. And if Kent's on a roll, Kent's on a roll.
Henrik, to come to you, talking of horses that have been amazing, it's lovely to see King Edward competing here. You've had such a wonderful partnership now. We're going to take a little look. But 2 good rounds in the Grand Prix, back onto week 5. How are we feeling now?
No, he felt really good there. People that followed it, I had a few jump-offs that didn't go my way. So I changed a bit of the plan and to take him here to Florida and build a little bit up the confidence again. And so in that Grand Prix, I went in the jump-off and were a little bit on the safe side. But he felt really, really good, and jumped him today again. And it feels like he's, if we could get in the jump-off on Saturday night here, I for sure would give it a go.
And for this partnership that you've had with him as well, with Eddie, I mean, an unbelievable run from the 2 World Cup wins through the World Championship to the Olympic Games. I mean, he really is a horse of a lifetime for you. At this stage of your life, who knows what's left?
No, I mean, I had amazing horses through my career, but of course the way to the roof is getting thinner. I mean, to have a horse like this is, Ben also knows, to have horses like this it's something different, and you don't know how it feels before you have one. You always think, this one is good and this one is good, but then you have one of these and you think, wow, it's a different league, and just so grateful that I could have a horse like this.
Does it make you or a bit more emotionally invested, in the sense that when it goes well, it almost feels even better, and when it doesn't go quite so well, it feels almost worse?
It's different. It's every time you go in the ring with this horse, you always, it's almost only losing. Win it, you are somehow relieved that it went well. If you're second, you're already, and if it's 5th, what a jump, it's like Ben says, my nature is still to give it a try and give it a go, but somehow you have to have, sometimes you have to use your brain instead, and this time I took a nice round, but at the same time when you walk away with a 5th place and you think, but I believe still in our sport we need patience. Sometimes we have to take a step back to have 2 steps forward, and it pays off normally, and we will see this week.
Ben, for you, I mean, that probably was a little bit of what you went through with Explosion as well, I'm guessing, from that point of view.
Yeah, I think
the horse that took you to the Olympic
It's
gold
amazing to have a
divisionally.
horse like that, Explosion, King Edward, but then you're expected to win.
Yeah.
And it piles more pressure on, and then as Henrik said, I felt like when I rode him that I didn't do him justice if we didn't win or we didn't. And it's a complete reverse of how we kind of go on riding the other horses. So it's not easy to ride. Like, for sure, it's a luxury to ride those horses.
Yeah.
But it's also not easy to ride them because you put added pressure, and they're normally so careful and sensitive that you can't afford to make a mistake. But I would take it again. I'm not. But yeah, it's a great feeling. Very lucky to. Some people never get that opportunity or to ride the one special one, and it's about making the most of it. I would have liked to have had a couple more years, but I also can sit here and know that I had my chances, and when I got my 1 or 2 big chances, I made them count, and ultimately I would take one or two results that I had with him over 15 others. So I can sleep at night with that.
Absolutely. And for anyone asking about him, he's fitting well at home. He's actually here in Florida.
Yeah, he's here. I was jumping him a little more at home earlier in the season, and we've got busy now. And on days when we're busy, he hacks around the preserve area there, and he's enjoying life. So every time the truck pulls up, he thinks it's for him, but I'm not sure that's happening. I'm not sure that's happening.
And you got to ride Explosion early in his career as a young horse, didn't you?
Yeah, I got to be a part of that and give Ben a few scares, but some big jumps, long distances. But yeah, that's a very special horse. So to have, I think anybody that was a part of that is a part of that horse's life is.
I think you were there when
lucky.
we tried him.
Yeah.
No?
Oh yeah. I was telling him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked a big distance on that, and that's when Ben had a little smile on his face.
That sold it for me. one big distance. I remember it to this day. He was probably 1.5 meters off of where he needed to be, maybe even 2. And then he just jumped 0.5 meter higher and 1 meter wider, and I'm like, okay,
and
we're taking this.
Well, that one will do.
Yeah, we all had smiles on our
Probably
faces.
kept the smile away, not to get too excited.
Ben said, wipe that smile off your face right now.
he looks okay. Yeah, maybe we'll have a think about it.
It's a bit flat, a bit long, but okay.
But I mean, you've 3 gold medals for you, Ben. We talked about this a few weeks ago as well, and you know, Dallas, Tilly, you know, gold medal there. You've had 3 different horses for gold medals. What's this plan this week? You said Anjou might be coming out this week.
Yeah, Anjou, he's been a little bit behind my other horses sort of through his career so far. He's not so old, and Dallas was sort of a little bit the front runner for a while, and then Point Break isn't here. I've just been back in Europe to ride him, ready for Sertogenbosch next week and maybe the World Cup final. But he's come into it. He's had some good results, but he's really come into his own here this season. Consistent. He's a very sharp horse and a little bit his own technique. But he's had, I think, been second in nearly every big class he's been in. So need to ride a little quicker on him. But he's due his chance, and feeling confident with him. So we'll jump him this week and then make a bit of a decision on the plan where we go towards the end of the circuit here.
Excellent. Let's reflect as well. We see Anjou in action there. But on the lineup that we've got this week here for the Bainbridge Grand Prix, and I can tell you it is a first-class lineup when we take a look at the world's top 10, the new ranking list just out there as well. And we have 6 of the world's top 10, including our number 1 here with Henrik von Eckermann. We've got Kent Farrington now up to world number 2, Ben here, world number 5, Christian Kuckuck number 6, McLean Ward number 7, and Richie Vogel as well of Germany is world number 9. That feels strong, Henrik.
Yeah, it's a very strong field, so it'll be a strong competition.
But do you like that?
Definitely. I mean, we like to have the top sport, and you know, yeah.
Do you look at a list and go, great, the big guys are in there, and girls with all the top horses, let's have a go?
I mean, when the big shows come together, it's always a bit of, yeah, and looking forward to it, and yeah, I really enjoy it. I mean, that's the sport part of it.
And as I say, new ranking list out, you're still world number 1, which is great news. I think it's what, 30, yeah, there's 29 points, I think, between you and Kent Farrington now. I'm not putting pressure on you this week, but
no problem.
I think it's 32 months now as world number 1, whatever that translates into years. What does that mean now, and how do you keep it that long? I'm guessing from your point...
It means that we're coming to the end. What it means. No,
but I mean,
but like I said before, you know, Kent, that's going to be...
it's going to be a challenge.
He's going to be number 1, and I think he's going to be the one who, you know...
Well, let's reflect on the last 30 plus months of you being at world number 1, and Ben, you've been world number 1 there as well. Of what does it mean? When you've gone through that long?
For me, it means that I've made some good choices with the plans for my horses. I mean, I also had a group that came together. Of course, King Edward, the first horse, but also a super group of second, third horses that won a lot. And you know, it's one thing to win something and win a few shows after each other to go full speed and but you want to have the horses for a long term and keep them fit and have a good plan, and I think that's have been good for me. The horse has been very healthy, and I could have a good plan for them, and yeah, my team did a good job.
But how do you feel when you went through initial sort of few months, few weeks of that, you riding in the ring and everyone went world number one?
No, for me it was actually just, I wanted to be, of course, number one on the paper one time. Then after that I thought, okay, I don't want to be the shortest one of them all. And then it became a few more months. But after a while you don't, I tried to make a plan for every horse, what I believe could be the right ring for the right amount of shows. And not after the world ranking, because if you do that, you're gonna first of all put a lot of pressure on yourself, and then it's the risk that you overdo it. You have to listen to the horses, what they tell you, and go after that plan. And like I said, I've been fortunate that I had so good horses at the same time, so even if one was off, I could use the other one, and so like exactly what Ben explained before.
And Ben, you've been up to the number one spot as well. Does it give you that extra boost when you ride in the ring and you hear that? I mean, three-time gold medalist, helps.
I was a little bit short on time there, but I mean, I think I was second to Henrik about a year ago or so. I was getting a bit closer. I don't really look at that stuff. I mean, he was still quite a lot of points ahead, and sure, if I would start to chase and do things, but you have to do the right thing. Point Break is probably, he's my best horse now. Got a good run at the end of last year, but then he was used quite a lot and he needed a break, so he's not come out here. He's had nearly sort of 6 weeks to 2 months off by now, doing the right thing for the horse, and then hopefully maybe where I've lost a little bit of momentum here, you can then move forward. But as Henrik said, when you get to consistency, top 12, top 15 pays off, but if you want to start to be a player in the top 3, you have to win. It's not going to make a difference unless you win, and you win on the big nights. And I think the last time I sat here was a little bit what I said. In order to move forward, I need to start to execute the jump-offs and win. That hasn't happened until now. I still messed up. But as Henrik said, it goes through stages with the horses, and you also have to ride in the ring feeling like your horse wants to win, it's ready to win. And at the moment, Dallas in particular, she maybe lost a little bit of confidence with that, but it comes back. I'm learning every week from that, and you sometimes just need one result, and then everything clicks into place for the whole team. So, yeah, maybe one day we can try and get back there, but I think it's going to be a while with Kent there now.
Carly, from your point of view, we were talking before this about maintaining strings, and it's hard to maintain a string at whatever level. As Ben says, you've got to listen to your horses there.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here without our horses. So to some degree, you have to start listening, or always listen. And I'm learning a lot just sitting here.
But talk to me about Heavenly W, and of course we've had JetBlue as previous good winner before now as well.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to also have some great horses, and Heavenly came to me just needing a little bit more time, and I feel very fortunate that Robin gave me the opportunity and the time and the time to go with that. And I think, when you have quality and they're showing it, but they're showing that they need a bit more time. If you give them what they need, then they usually can rise to the occasion and give you what you want and then some. I feel incredibly grateful for all of the opportunities and results and everything that Heavenly and JetBlue have given me over the last few years. So patience is definitely the key to success, and then management, as both of them have said, and just knowing what they want and listening, yeah.
And the lesson always seems to be, Ben, is patience.
Sometimes I think there's a place where a horse just needs pushing a little bit, but Point Break was always ahead in his sort of stage of his life, and then last year I thought we would get some momentum early on, and we kind of didn't. He was jumping okay, and he was a little bit on the list for Paris, and we decided that maybe he wasn't quite ready, and then it did pay off in the end. Towards the latter part of the year, I feel like he was more ready, he was stronger mentally, he's ready, and when I've just gone back now, he doesn't seem to have forgotten where he was from 6 weeks ago.
Whereas when I saw him jump in London, he was...
Yeah, so that's just a sign of growing up. He needed that little bit more time, whereas I've also had Explosion that was 9 years old, and I went on the first Grand Prix in Shanghai from the rider that was riding him at that point, and it was like he'd been there 20 times before. So I think you have to read into the horses. Some horses, they're confident and they're ready to go earlier, and some need more time, and that's our jobs to understand and manage them like people. We have to manage every situation differently.
And exactly as you've had to do with King Edward in the last few months, but in terms of almost your other horses get a little bit looked past, don't they? And you've actually got, I mean, Steely Dan has impressed us. You've got Minuteman here. Ileana, of course, took you to
Ileana, and we've shown it like Glamour Girl, for example. You know, she's a horse who doesn't go many 5-star Grand Prix, but the amount she won, I think she won 40 classes in 150 and bigger. You know, and that's for also as a rider to just to get a feeling to win something and to go in the ring and you know you can beat the other ones. It gives also confidence to the other ones. You know, so it's a horse like that is also so valuable. And been for me unbelievable partner.
And for you, who's the next King Edward? Who's in the string that I'm going? It's almost impossible to follow, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I don't like to you know, different horses, different characters. You know, you have to see. In the end, you don't know before they're doing it. So we have big hopes, and of course we are trying, but then in the end we have to see when they really do it.
And how many sort of young horses do you have at home? What's the Henrik system? Do you have a bunch of 6-year-olds?
No, I don't have so many horses in total. I have 8 horses.
Because we shouldn't look past your wife Janneke as well.
No, exactly. She's also... no, but I mean, Steely Dan is one that I believe in. And then, yeah, we have to see. I like to be... I don't want to... hang out too.
You're playing the Swedish cards close.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Excellent. Okay, we've got some questions for you from viewers as well to bring to you as well. Carly, we're going to come to you first from that point of view. And as I say, we've got questions for each of you. Carly, we'll swing into you. The first of your questions, Carly, is from Gloria James 12. What are your greatest accomplishments so far? What do you put in the top box at the moment?
I would say it's last Saturday night. that would be one of them. I don't know. I think for me, accomplishments are also outside of the ring. I would say having a partnership with Robin Parsky for as long as I've had is a huge accomplishment, and I feel very lucky to have her in my life. I would say getting to work with all the people that I've worked with in my career so far, like Mr. Ben here, I consider that a huge accomplishment. You know, I'm from Seattle, and growing up, Europe alone just seemed like, you know, years away. I never thought I would even get to that point. So, I don't know. I view my accomplishments a little differently, but I would say riding-wise, last Saturday was a pretty good one.
And you're riding horses for Robin Parsky as well from that point of view. And again, a little bit of a shout out to the owners here, because the 4 stables, of course, with a number of big horses for you, Charlotte Roster and Pam Wright and Jane Clark as well. I mean, they're all behind the scenes supporting all of you, and that's what's so strong in the sport. Like you say, you've all got your goals, but they're the ones behind going, go on, let's get it.
Yeah, it's not possible without them. Everyone wants to own an amazing horse and have fun, but then it's also working together to understand that there needs to be a team of horses around the main horses to keep them good. And then, as you were discussing earlier with the younger horses producing, I mean, once you get a bug for this sport, it's it kind of, you get the adrenaline, you know the feeling, and then you want to get back there to win. So yeah, without them it's not possible, and there's many times when there are disappointments behind the scenes, or you have to be patient, or you're dealing with other things. And I think that's when the great owners that I've had have really come together. We've had some difficult times together, but when you can stick together, and the winning is very enjoyable, but that's the easy part at the end. It's getting there the hours of work and disappointing days and cold days, and not just all the glamorous side that we see here on the live show. And that's when you really feel that they're part of the family, and that's what I would like to think with my owners.
And from your point of view, I was with you at the Young Horse Championships in the UK last year, and Jane was over there watching, and again getting huge satisfaction seeing a whole group of young horses competing.
Yeah, I have a lot of seller babies, and they're all coming through. That's another project we have going on. But Jane Clark's horse won a Grand Prix over on the grass the other week. So yeah, we're producing for later on down the line. But as Henrik said, you just never know what they're going to be, the young horses, and we all dream to get the one, but they have to choose in the end where they want to be. I believe we give them the best shot and the kind of the right, hold their hand in the right direction, but ultimately they have to decide to want to be winners in the end. I'm a bit of a believer of that.
And for you, your owners must be, in the various results when it was World Championships and everything else in there must.
No, but in the end, exactly like Ben said, it's winning, it's easy, and when everyone is winning and being number one, everything is, but at one point it's going the other way for everyone, and you have to start over again, and you have setbacks and so on, and there is really where the owners, you know who they are, and they stand by you even if it's going the wrong way, and not starting to question everything what you're doing just because the results are going the other way, and believing you, and just supporting you. And with the owners I have, like Robin or Georg, and that's why they also been in the sport for so long. They know the game. They know it's not only glory days. It's also bad days, and but they know they're horses and not machines. So and that's also the part of the sport what is also so nice. It's not like just because I'm number one, I'm gonna go in and win on Saturday. It's see the Olympics. Number one is falling off, and
but you bounce back. That's the point.
Yeah, of course, but that's interesting with the sport.
Yes.
You never know, Doesn't matter if the best horse, the best rider, you never know.
Let's come on to your second, slight diversion there, Carly, but we'll come back to your second question. And this is from Livy Liss. Slightly, how do you get on the US team?
How did I?
How did you get on the US team?
I asked myself that the same question.
I think hard work and determination, are the two things in there. But.
Exactly, and a little luck. But well, obviously you have to apply. But Heavenly and I have had a good run the last couple of months to a year, and we've been working at it, and it's always been a goal of ours, and obviously something that we talked to Robert about, and just mentioned that that's something that we'd like to do, and hope that when he feels like it's the right time to put me on, that we get to go on. And we got really lucky, and we ended up winning it. So
I wouldn't say lucky, but the hard work paid off.
Yes.
Okay, Ben, let's come on to you. Joseph Hesse says, how did you get your posture to be so perfect?
Ooh, I'd like to know that too.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know it was perfect, but when I was young, I had a lot of, they probably would call it a bit more abuse these days, I think, but I did a lot of hours riding on the lunge with no stirrups, no reins. I was young and not
getting your balance,
barely being able to walk the next day, and I went through the old school method, so to speak. But everything's about balance, about rhythm with the horse. Probably not such an American riding style, but I think it's very important this day and age with the speed and the technical courses and everything. Body position is important. Even more, the American system's probably gone slightly more European, I would say. And even Henrik would probably ride maybe a touch more forward than me, but still at the right moments, sitting up and making the right moves. So a lot of work when I was younger, probably that got instilled into me.
And you had some big influences early on in your career.
I rode with Liz and Ted Edgar when I left school, Stephen Smith in the very beginning, and then I was the stable rider for Beat Manley for a couple of years. So you take influence from that and maybe a little piece from each trainer, and then you put them put them together, and there's probably some similarities maybe early on, not so much now, between myself and Steve Gerda, because we both come from the stable of Beat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of taking little pieces of information from everywhere and putting them together.
Second question from Joseph again. What exercises do you do besides riding?
Me as a rider?
Yeah, are you a gym person, or are you a... I mean, interestingly, Christian Kukuk said the other day he's not so much of a gym person.
He's still young.
Wait
for it. Henrik said wait for it.
I wish, turning the clock back, I did a little bit more work physically, because I do think it catches up with you in our sport. Had a back operation a few years ago, and then nearly a career-ending fall here with I have a metal shoulder, or a lot of metal in my shoulder now here. So I do have to keep up with that. I spend 2 days or 2 afternoons in the gym here while I'm in Florida, Tuesdays and Fridays, working with personal trainer. I try to get very fit while I'm here, and then it kind of holds me through the year. Not that I don't do anything the rest of the year, but I do feel that it's time without the traveling and things that I can work on some of my weaknesses and things like that. But yeah, there's not so much other time to, and I don't like doing it. It's dragging myself there, but I have a great trainer, and he's got me fit, and he got me back after my injury in very, very short time. So I have a lot of trust and faith in him.
All right, Henrik, embarrass us. How much time do you spend in the gym in a week?
Not so much anymore, I have to say. Before I was really fanatic with it.
Yeah.
But now, not so much anymore. Now I'm trying, just like Ben says, it catches up with you, and I have to really train a bit for my back and keep my body going.
Maintain it all.
Yes.
Yeah. Henrik, let's come on to... Oh, actually, I've got one more question for Ben. Ben, a horse you'll never forget?
Yeah, it's a big explosion, but I think Triple X as well.
Yeah.
Horse I bred. I was the first one he was born at ours. I broke him in. I never forget that. I remember even on the second time I sat on him, he cantered around the school, changed leads. He was like he had already been ridden for 2 months before, and to take a horse all the way through, and then to go to an Olympic Games. And then also on top of that, he then went on to Tiffany Foster and gave her probably one of her best horses. I think that's an accomplishment, to have a horse from the very beginning all the way through. So I probably have a lot to owe him, which helped me with my experience and everything to be ready for Explosion. I think that's an important factor. If I had Explosion when I was younger in my career, I probably wouldn't have done him justice. So fortunately, it's about the horses. He came at the right time for me, and I'm probably sure Henrik could say the same.
Absolutely.
And maybe Carly's one is you're sat on him now, or maybe that's coming, but if you get them too early, sometimes you can't do them justice either, and I think he was definitely a big part of that for me.
Okay. Triple X then went on to a team gold in London. Which was the horse that was pre-King Edward then for you? You're saying...
I mean, I had Mary Lou as well before, that I thought was a fantastic horse, but every horse had their stage. I had so many horses on the way, and the first one I jumped, my first Nations Cup in Aachen, for example, I got borrowed from Lutke. Then I had Coupe de Coeur, that was 15 Europeans that I could borrow, and then Gotha came, and there was so many horses on the way that also I learned so many things from them. But like Ben said, then King Edward came in the right time.
Let's get into your questions, and one that lots of people ask, what are your favourite flatting exercises? What are your favourite exercises on the flat with your horses? Because everybody loves that bit.
Yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible, because I think it's anyway complicated everything. So I'm very basic. I'm not doing so much, just trying to have the connection with the horse, that we are connecting, and easy going, forward. Nothing special. I do very, very simple. Keep it simple.
The world number one says it's so simple, it's fine.
No, it's not simple. Keep it simple. Try to keep it simple.
Lily Kingsley said, how do you cope with bad moments?
With time you learn to cope with them better. for sure it was a big weakness in my career. I was before very impatient in the way of, when it went bad. But you get older and you learn, and of course when you have a family with my son, that also helped actually a lot in this part. Even at Olympics was not so great for me. When I come home and I see my son, then everything else just disappears, and But I think it's a strong part maybe from myself that even if it goes bad, I'm very quick up again and on to the next.
Get back in there. Final question for you, Henrik. This is another one. What's your tip for finding distances?
Look for them.
And if you don't see it, look harder.
No, in the end, I think with the distance, you have to trust yourself. It's a lot about trusting yourself that the distance will come. That I think what made me do wrong. Everyone is just looking for the distance, and maybe doing too much in the end. You have to, of course, you have to do something, but trust yourself a bit and with confidence, and start on a low level, and when you're confident, you build it higher, and slowly.
You finish up as world champion in the Olympics. Excellent, thank you very much. It remains for me to say, what have we got coming up this week? We've got lots coming up this week for you, and a little reflection as well on what has already been, because a number of leaderboards to bring you, including our leading lady, but also remind you that Thursday is our Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Is going to be in there as well, and that's so tomorrow, qualifier for the Grand Prix. Friday into the Bainbridge 150 speed there, usual Friday speed class as well. Saturday sees a double header with a 2-star Grand Prix in the afternoon there for Baxter Miami, and in the evening $500,000 Bainbridge Grand Prix as well. Sunday is the 1 meter 50 Classic. And also a reminder too, over at dressage, para dressage, well underway, of course, where United States did so well through the Paralympics last season as well. You can follow all the action on wellingtoninternational.com and USCF Network as well. And that is what's going to be coming up this week. Like I say, we've also got following throughout the season our Martha Jolicoeur leading lady leaderboard as well. Let's take a look at that. Natalie Dean is still top of that. Emily Conter is in second. Mimi Gotchman top 3. She was top 3 in one of our 5-star Grand Prix as well. Lily Keenan not too far away. Leading international rider overall at the moment is Ben Maher. That's presented by Michael and Wendy Smith as well. Spencer Smith in second at the moment, and Luis Fernando Rasbal, who was leading, now into third. And to the Don Little Masters, well, a little more experienced, our experienced riders there, presented by Rushy Marsh Farm. Lauren Brody still topping that as well. Well done to her. And thank you very much for joining in for us as well. As I say, reminder, we've got lots coming up, whether you're following through the international ring this week or all the various many rings. I think 12 rings in action this week at least, plus dressage too. Remains to say thank you very much. Thank you for making the time for Ben. You've had a busy week. Thank you for making it here. Carly, brilliant success in the Nations Cup. Well done. You get to ride in this week and go Nations Cup winning rider, which is nice. And you get to still come in as world #1, Henrik. So we're looking forward to how this plays out. Good luck this week in the Grand Prix and all the big classes, all 3 of you. Thank you very much. And it remains to say thank you to all our supporters, including USCF as well, our sponsor of the live stream, part with support of the US Equestrian Federation and USCF Network as well. Also to Bainbridge, our presenting sponsor this week too. Proud to be sponsoring once again with offices across the country, including here in Wellington, from Orlando to Tampa to Washington to Charlotte to Raleigh, Atlanta, and to 2 stations in Texas as well. They're one of the nation's premier owners, developers and builders and managers multifamily real estate too. And our thanks to Dodd Technologies, our presenting sponsor of our live stream throughout the week. Join us tomorrow as well for full coverage of the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you during the week and, of course, on Saturday night for that Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix. See you then.